A dumpster fire indeed, and some more folks pointing to it and saying, "Hey, this is a
Hey, there's a
dumpster fire."
fire. Hey, there's a fire over here. We should do something about it.
The dumpster fire in question, the NWSL anonymous reporting system, does not seem to be working as intended. Another banger of an SF Chronicle report by Marissa and Jemmy. Subscribe to the
Marissa.
paper. It is worth every penny. They're doing like a 25 cents for 3 months thing right now. And you get to read dedicated women's sports content, which is pretty rare for a newspaper. So send that love wherever you can. Um, from the report, the players have been making complaints on the anonymous tip line. They've been making complaints through the anonymous player surveys, and they've not really seen any action against them. And players just don't know if, like, does one take precedent over the other, is like what's the proper channel for a complaint in a way that's going to get answered. And there was one quote in the article that was pretty interesting. A player said, "I kind of assumed the team and league would work together on the survey results, but then again, on the multiple teams I've played for, not much has ever changed after the surveys. Not much is actually done, but no one in the league ever contacted us, even after scathing reviews."
Wow.
These two reporting pathways have been touted by the league as, this is the huge change that they're implementing from the before times, and those scandals when miscommunication and passing the buck just kind of kept complaints from being answered. Um, but if these complaints that players are making are still out in the ether, nothing's really changed. And what hasn't been helping, at least from what I've gathered on my end, there is a lack of transparency around these investigations and the results of these investigations. And that lack of transparency can really only lead to another scandal. And I think it's something that I'm not sure that the league is taking very seriously. There was a league official quoted in the article saying, like, training for a tip line, how would that work? And so it just
It
doesn't
seems
seem
pretty straightforward to me, if we're all
it
being
doesn't
honest.
seem very urgent to the league, and that is really unfortunate.
That's really concerning. Like, if this is your answer to the problem and players don't see it answering the problem, then fun fact, it's not the answer to your problem. Um, and I guess like now we have the attorneys general. Dang it.
Attorneys general.
I know. I
A's
gave you a hard
G.
time for messing it up before. No, I did. It's fine. Karma comes back around. But like I'm very curious to see what the I wish we knew more like what the specific requirements are of them in terms of handling the line and transparency to the players because
Oh,
I
we know the line. It was put out in the settlement ruling in the paperwork. Like, if a coach especially is being investigated for complaints from players, like, there needs to be communication with the union so that the players can be told. Like, there are these
oh, so there is
safeguards.
a workflow
Yeah,
outlined of
and
requirements.
like
That's good
these,
to know.
yeah, so these BFC complaints kind of predated all this,
Sure.
but I think knowing that this is the past behavior of the league, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that they are acting in the way that they are supposed to. I mean, they're supposed to be publishing reports every 6 months with all of the investigations that have been either formally or informally been started. And I think
When does that 6 months happen?
that 6 months happens August 1st. I have a calendar notification set for it.
Ooh, great.
Yeah, I think when you have these systems in place that has kind of been the reason for the A's G giving the league the benefit of the doubt, I think they need to be working better than they are.
Yeah, absolutely. If the players don't feel like they're working, then guess what? They're not working. They're not serving the people that they are designed to serve. Which means, cool, what's the point of this? It doesn't seem uh like that's too much to ask. Like there should be some like, okay, you get an ID number for this thing, and
Yeah.
like here's where you can find out more info from your players association or from this site that is logging all this, or yeah, that's bonkers. And I think
Yeah.
even the idea of a training on a tip line being so difficult does not inspire confidence in the folks running it. Uh, there should at least be a, hey, here's what to expect.
Yeah.
I
And
could
I
make
think
that video
that's
in my
missing.
sleep. And if that doesn't exist, then someone needs to just make it. That's also not a huge ask. It's not an unreasonable ask to just do a, hey, here's what happens when you call the line.
Yeah, and I think right now that's where the confusion is. There's no like it's like, okay, who's in charge of tracking this claim? Who can I contact if I have more info to give? It's just all kind of like, okay, I've made my complaint, and no, do I get a shipping notification? Do I get a
And
Domino's pizza tracker? Just give me
took the
something.
words right out of my mouth. No, no Domino's pizza tracker for you. Carlo is
just
doing quality check.
just gonna throw that out there for the league as a possibility.
Even just an outline of what the steps are on their end would be cool. Of here's what happens on our end when you do submit a thing. And then in theory, from that, you would be able to find out where you can learn more. And I would say I would want instructions on, hey, if I've called about a thing and lodged a complaint, but another thing has happened since then, what is my method of supplying you with that information?
Yeah.
What if more has come to light? Should I just call the line again? Do I need to associate it with that previous one? Like that's where I would have questions. And the fact that they don't see this to me means they haven't put that much thought into it.
Yeah, I mean, and that was also a big part of the San Diego lawsuit that is still currently pending, where the plaintiffs were saying that if I made a complaint and they confused it for a different complaint, so this has kind of been a running thing.
So a tracking number could be helpful. Cool, great. Just as someone who's worked in like content review on the internet, this isn't that hard. I
As
have
someone who's
built
ordered a package, that's
Yeah, honestly, like I've designed these systems for like
yeah,
disagreements or whatever for online stuff. It's not that hard. Like it needs to be thoughtful, but if you haven't thought about it, then yeah, it's gonna seem, I don't know, or it's not gonna work. There are, just let me fix things.
yep.
League, here, give me it.
So investigations going straight to the trash, figure it out, and just kind of stay tuned, I guess. So I'm sure this
I
is
guess.
far from over, and
Stay tuned
more.
where we don't know.
Yeah.
We
Don't
don't
know
have a
how.
tracking number. I mean, follow Marissa if you're not
Yeah, and
already.
yeah, just follow Marissa, subscribe to the Chronicle. They are doing really great work.